So I wanted to tell you a little bit about Rich. Rich, Rich brings really good beer to the house, and and he and he and he helps me get my computers working. And lately, even he's been bringing like designer pickles. But you know, he's just an extremely thoughtful guy, and anybody that watched that um ceremony today could see what goes on with Rich. And when he gets near and dear to somebody, it gets to be pretty powerful for him. And I couldn't be happier. Um, and before I ever met Rich, I kind of knew what kind of a guy he was because Julie told us the story about how he asked for a second date. He sent to the where do you work? To the salon, to Colors Salon, a DVD and a little card that was asking for a second date, and the DVD was Julie's favorite movie that she'd mentioned on the first date. And the girls at the salon were like, "Oh my God! Oh, you got to call him. This is like a movie. You have to call him." Well, she did. And I can tell you that I have never seen Julie more like herself than she is when she's with Rich. And Julie, when she's herself, is as delightful of a person as I've ever known in my life. And I could tell stories and keep you all here till Wednesday, but I'm a kind person and I'm not going to do that. So, let's see, what's this next note here? Oh yeah, they are truly a special couple. I mean, the ceremony today just knocked me off my socks, or out of my socks, um, and the emotion, the moment when they both reach for their handkerchiefs and wipe their eyes at the same time. I don't know that I've ever seen that before. And this kind of event, for me, when Julie and Rich called us in December and said that they were going to get married, it was like, oh, cool. And then, and it's like, it registers like logically, but emotionally, it doesn't register for a while for me. And so, I mean, I was writing checks and meeting new people and going through and going through lots of steps, working up to this wedding. And I'm like, I'm thinking this is a big deal. This is my daughter getting married, and this is a really big deal. And I'm thinking about it, but it's like there's certain moments when you hear about the tsunami coming, but you don't really believe it until you're standing there and it's like washing over you and knocking you on your ass. So, one of the moments came at a very odd time. Jane and I were in New York City a while ago, and we were at Tim Meyer's restaurant. And Tim is an old friend of Julie's, and they've been friends for a long, long time, traveled together on shows and stuff like that. And Tim was like, "Man, isn't this great? Julie's getting married." And he said, "As long as I've known Julie, she's been planning her wedding day." And I, and I'm, and it hit me, because these guys took off and started planning this thing back in January, I think, and it was like a ton of work and lots of stress and lots of meetings and lots of organization to get it to work. And I'm kind of standing there, with my sort of left brain wondering why would anybody go through all of this for one day. Until Tim said, Julie's been planning this wedding since she was born. And then it's like, oh, that's why. And then the next moment when I realized I was going to get hit by a tsunami was, or I didn't realize it before it happened. It was like it was already over me. And Julie and I were standing at the rehearsal yesterday, and she put her hand on my arm, and we walked down the aisle, and they said, okay, pause there. And we paused there, and there was just a handful of people there, but they were all looking at us, and we started walking down the aisle together, and it was just one of those moments that just, I'm like, this is it. This is happening now. And I got down there and kissed my daughter on the cheek, gave her hand to Rich, and the guy said, okay, sit down. And and that was the next moment that just registered at an emotional level, like very deep emotional level, that something really important is happening. And then last night at the Rio, and we had all these people here, and I was looking around at them, and I knew probably half of them, and I'm thinking about it, and it's like, all these people in this room, one moment tomorrow afternoon, one event, in a very small moment, I'm going to be connected to all of these people in a very deep and profound way. And you know, it's like, it's great to know that I have all these places all over the country where I can show up on these doorsteps and have a place to stay. I can't believe it. And so thank you, Julie and Rich. You know, this is like a door open for me. You know, it's like wonderful. So anyway, I would like to suggest that we raise a glass. I left mine over there, but maybe I'll just, oh, okay. You got something? Let's raise a glass to Julie and Rich and all the people that made so much effort to get here. Thank you very much.
So I'm Patricia. Some of you may know me as Patita. Julie likes to introduce me that way. I really love it. It actually means little duck in Spanish for those of you who are not bilingual. So I kind of want to start with how I met Julie. I asked her the other day, I thought it was 1990. Apparently I was 3 years old. She said I used to scream and cry a lot. I think that's understandable. But when we started speaking to each other, I believe we started watching Disney princess movies, and then we moved on to more mature things like singing in the mirror and making inappropriate jokes when I would visit her in Los Angeles. And she's always been a really positive and supportive role model in my life, except for one time where I believe this was my freshman year of college. So I went to visit her for Thanksgiving in Los Angeles, and I had never been there before, so I was really stoked to go there with her. And she took me out to Hollywood Boulevard. So how many of you guys have been there? Okay. So apparently we went to the oldest restaurant in, the oldest Italian restaurant in Hollywood Boulevard. And I was 19, and I was with a friend, and my friend Renee, and Julie took us out, and we did the whole Hollywood Boulevard thing, and we were overserved, to say the least, and apparently they don't ID very often in Hollywood. That's fine. So we started walking back towards the car, and there was a piercing shop on the way back to the car, and she was like, haven't you always wanted to get your nose pierced? And I was like, you're right, that's a great idea. And you know, like a true friend, she was there to support me, and she videotaped the whole thing on her iPhone. It's not there anymore, so we're good. But she really was supportive, and you still have that video? Yeah, good. And no, but for real, like we do yoga together. She inspires me to be healthy. She really is a positive role model, and that was a supportive act. So when she started dating Rich, uh, I instantly saw this like 360. Like Julie's always been like crazy. Uh, but there's sometimes where she's more like, you know, more composed. Like, you know, she's been composed. And but when she started dating Rich, we have these like monthly luncheons where we do updates. And we were having this update lunch, and I think I was talking about work, something boring. I work in auditing, and she was just like somewhere else. And I called her out on it, and I was like, Julie, you're not listening to anything. I was like, where are you? And she's like, I'm thinking about Rich. And I was like, what? So, okay, let's talk about Rich. So, so she just had so much positive things to talk about. And she said he was amazing. And I quickly learned that that was very truthful. Before I even met Rich, we started chatting via email. He actually was helping me with job references and basically took my resume and wrote like a cover letter for me. And I was just like, wow, I was really impressed. I was like, she found a smart one. I was like, and he's helping me find jobs. Like, yeah, it was great. And so then I finally met him, and I was just like, wow. I like instantly knew. And then all these pictures on Facebook started popping up, and I was like, this is like seriously like a love novel like photograph. I was like, this is ridiculous. This is ridiculous, but it's like awesome. So I was instantly very, very happy for you both. I have a lot of fun when I hang out with you guys. I love that you accept my humor. And I think you both have very similar humors. And going off topic, but basically, hold on a second. I gotta scroll down. This is a long one. So at that lunch-in, when she started going off about how amazing Rich was, and we all know that's true, but she was like, he's the one. She said that. And I was like, okay, Julie, come on. Look at me in the eyes and tell me again that he's the one. And she didn't even flinch. And she said, he's amazing. He's the one. And I was like, damn. That was convincing. I literally got like shivers all over my body, and I was like, that sounds legit. And basically, I've been rooting for him since day one, and I'm really, really happy that you guys are together, and I love hanging out with you guys, and I could go on forever roasting you, but I'm not gonna go there. Maybe after a few drinks later, if you guys want to know some things. I know. Me and Julie go way back, so. Anyway, I will introduce you guys to Paul. Let's make a toast. Let me grab my wine. Been sipping on that for a while. to my cousin, even though technically on Facebook we're sisters, so you know it's official. To my big sister, my big brother, I love you both. Cheers. Okay, where's Paul? Where are you at?
I've known Rich for close to 20 years. By the way, Android phones, the new note cards. I have save that for later. I've been yes, I work for Google. By way of introduction, I work for Google up in Dublin. We will get to that. I've known Rich for close to 20 years right now from St. Bonaventure University in upstate New York. So props to St. Bonnie's. Go Bonnies. I've been living in Ireland for the past year and a half. So you know the temptation here right now. Like God bless Rich, who already knows that I love the sound of my own voice. And waiting for me to live amongst the Irish of all people for a year and a half to put a microphone in my hands, and thinking this is going to be over quickly. The Irish tradition in this situation would be 20, 30 minutes of just complete, absolute brutal assaultment of the groom, roasting, just teasing every drunken anecdote we can ever imagine. Of course, gushing, glowing praise of the beautiful, beautiful Julia. And then followed up with us all just rushing Rich and then tilting him on his back and spoon feeding him 20 shots of Jameson's. That would be the Irish version. I'm here in America. I will hold back on that. The agenda today basically is I will still give a little bit of room for Rich to sweat. There'll be a little bit of embarrassment. I will still give glowing praise to the beautiful, beautiful Juliana. Isn't she beautiful, everyone? And hopefully we'll end on a little bit of a good Irish blessing and a little bit of inspiration. So let's crack on. So Rich, Jesus, come on. This is my chance to really dig in. If you don't know enough about Rich, what you need to know is, it doesn't surprise me, writing cover letters, super geek for life, programmer, analyst, a startup obsessor, video game, should I say addict? We all know him by his wonderful blogs, SoMoney.com or .net, or his gaming handle, Stony Baby, which I think that Julia actually dodged a bullet when we didn't have to put that on the wedding license, and you only had to adopt his surname of Malloy. That's Rich in a nutshell. Here's a guy that is always switched on, always connected, always, he's the guy that's having a conversation with you, making direct eye contact, and with one hand he's checking in and tweeting and liking something on Facebook and writing a blog and shooting a photo. He's the guy that says, and forget about all this Colorado experience that we've been experiencing, the hike up in the mountains was beautiful, but Rich is the guy that wants to put Wi-Fi in every one of these trees. And so my entire life I'm thinking, okay, who's going to match that? We've been in touch for 20 years, and I'm thinking, who matches that level of hyper Stony Baby connectivity, always on, always connected, always like geek for life. It would take somebody intense indeed. And then I met Juliana, and it was different. The Juliana's warm, and you could see it in her smile. She's warm and she's genuine. And what strikes me most about what I've met from you and what I've heard from you is that, gosh, you're so lovely, and you're so balanced, and you're so patient. Which, by the way, is going to go a really long way in the relationship with Rich. But you're full of serenity. You're full of that balance. And I thought, okay, this makes sense. This makes sense. It's not about matching, the intensity that is Rich. Going Mach 2 with his hair on fire, always intense, always going full of life. But it's about finding someone that's going to balance them. And so I went a little. So I thought, okay, that's all right. But I went a little deeper, and I asked Rich, so what is it? Tell me about the relationship. And the things that struck out to me was he said that for me, the communication is so strong, right? The communication is so strong. We are so we're so connected in such a way that I take away from this that we've been on conversion paths our entire life. Destined to be together. Patty talked a little bit about the one, right? So I have an anecdote. Bear with me, because that really resonated with me. This whole idea of conversion paths, right? So I would like to take you guys on a journey right now. I would like to take you on a time warp back to a place called 1995. Oh yeah. Rich and I are in college at St. Bonaventure University in Southern Tier, New York. All right, you could just hear the Dave Matthews Band playing in the background, right? Rusted Roots, a little bit of GNR maybe. Rich wearing flannel shirts. Yeah. sorry, I'm way aging myself. But, St. Bonaventure University was fantastic. It was beautiful. It was set in the mountains. You could smell the crisp air and the leaves change. You see the leaves changing. You see ivy growing up on brick walls, and you see Franciscans, walking around with brown robes. And there was me and Rich, not doing any of that, hiding in the dark corner of a pub, right? Where Rich and I really found our bond was at a pub called the Moose Nose. The Moosehead. The Moose Nose. Thank you very much. It's on my notes. The thing about me and Rich is that we were iconoclasts. We were idealists. We were wannabe Ivy Leaguers, and whereas most people were going to the places with the sticky floors, we wanted to go to a place with a nice polished bar. We want, instead of having plastic cups, we want to drink good beer out of glass mugs. We wanted to actually have balanced pool tables while we wax philosophical about life, the universe, and everything. And we did. We talked about risk aversion and world domination and taking over the universe. But we also talked about love. Believe it or not, we were hopeless romantics. And as we're shooting darts, we talked a little bit about the concept of destiny. I think that the concept of the one didn't quite do it for us as much as we wanted to. We came up with a different theory, and I'll spare you all the details, but we called it the 500 Club. And this is just something where we take that we take that destiny, and we put statistics, and we figure out exactly what is the statistical probability of us actually finding somebody that is the one person out of 6 billion on the planet. So we all agreed, okay, we're going to cross-reference socioeconomics, geolocation targeting, and out of 6 billion, there's got to be about maybe 5 million that will be just blow our hair back. And out of that 5 million, I'll save the details. There's got to be 500 that are just going to make us wobble in the knees, make us fall over ourselves, and be like, oh my God, if I'd be lucky to find one of those 500. So, fast forward. I'll save you the suspense. We didn't find those 500 sitting in that dark corner of the bar. So, why are you just sitting here? Oh my God, I can't find the one. I can't find the 500. Get outside. So we would check into. So we did move into larger cities, me to Washington D.C., Rich to New York. To larger cities where we had more of a statistical probability to find those people in the same dark corners of different bars. And we would always check in with each other. And I always felt there was this intonation of, as we were communicating, saying, whenever, if we met somebody, if we were in a relationship, it was just, actually, it would go a little bit like, dude. Which meant like, no, that's not 500. So when I heard about Juliana, of course, the first question I asked was, dude? And Rich said, dude. And you can only imagine what that interpreted to be. So I'm coming to a wrap, I promise. A little time check. Listen, I just want to say there is something about the 500 Club. It's a bit idealistic. There is something about that, in terms of finding the one, this idealistic state. What I take away from this is that it's not about, being perfect every moment. It's not about being perfect individuals. What's inspiring is finding that person, like just having that hunger to find a miracle. And that's something that I actually would say Rich is brilliant at. Inspires me every day to look for miracles. Call it hopeless romantic, or just hopeless in general. I would say that, I would say both of you have looked for miracles every day. And, what's important is that you guys are right and perfect for each other. And I think that you guys have found that. So I am very confident in saying that, that Juliana, you are top 500. I'm actually willing to say you might just be the one. Two more compliments. I'm going to wrap this. So, gosh, Rich, I still feel like I haven't really thrown you enough under the bus enough. Juliana, you really do inspire me. You're so lovely. You're so warm. You're so genuine. I'm really pleased that you're giving this balance to my best friend. To Juliana's family, I would like to just say thank you. So Royce, Jane, Georges, all the cousins that are responsible for raising Juliana, I would just say fantastic job raising an amazing, warm individual who is full of grace, beauty, serenity, and beyond. So cheers to you guys. I'd like to round of applause. To Mr. and Mrs. Malloy. I don't know what to say. My advice would be don't be too hard on yourself. You've done the best you could. You have 3 lovely daughters. And I would like to say cheers to your patience for putting up with all of that. To Mr. and Mrs. Malloy. One last thing. So we, since I live in Ireland, I have to do one quick little plug for a future Irish president that I'm giving you guys. But I would like to end on a quick sentiment, and I would encourage us all to join me in a toast. The story of the Claddagh, or city of Claddagh. If anybody's Irish in the room would know that there's a lot of myths that go around it. You would know it from a very traditional Irish wedding ring, where there are 2 hands and a heart and a crown around it. There's a lot of competing myths around this story. One of them is that there is an Irish sailor who got captured at sea, was enslaved for 14 years, and became an apprentice as a goldsmith. And through those 14 years of imprisonment, all he could think about was his one true love. And he made a wedding ring with those 2 hearts, the heart, the crown, and he presented it to, when he finally made it back home to a town outside of Galway, he presented that to his bride, and he said, with my two hands of friendship, I present you my heart, and I crown it with loyalty. And so it's become a symbol for love, loyalty, and friendship. And so what I would say is, why don't we raise our glasses now? I would say we're all on a journey right now. This is your family. This is your friends and family. Just wanting to be on this journey with you. You guys are writing chapters in that perfect relationship, that relationship of miracles. And we are thrilled to be part of it. And I want to thank you for being part of that. But what I would like to do right now is if we can all just say to love, to loyalty, and to friendship, and then the Irish word for cheers is sláinte. I'll say it one more time, sláinte. There you go. So from all of us to all of you, to love, to loyalty, to friendship, sláinte.